music.
Oh, absolutely.
Dance
Yeah,
performances.
dance performances. Again, the park is utilized the year round, and we use art to draw people to the parks. In the summertime, of course, especially, you can find people enjoying the park. You can find them enjoying classical music performances at the Pritzker Pavilion. That's where the Grant Park Music Festival performs every summer for about 12 weeks from June through August. Again, free classical music performances. We have jazz performances there, again, free, many of them drawing the best jazz artists in Chicago or around the world. We've had world music performances there, all there in the Pritzker Pavilion, all free. And again, the Millennium Park website is a great place to find out about all those things that are happening. We've also had great performances throughout the park, not just in the pavilion, but we've utilized the space around the Cloud Gate or the Bean. We've utilized the space in the Wrigley Fountain on the northern corner of the park. We've had dance performances in the Crown Fountain, right, in between the shooting water and.
So I want to know though, the pictures that are on the fountain. So we have, what's that piece that we have that sticks out, and you see these images of people.
That's the Crown Fountain.
The Crown Fountain.
Right.
How did these people get so lucky to have their? Actually, I know this. I know this. I'm setting you ladies up.
Right. Okay. Tell us.
It was in the newspaper. I was reading a newspaper article recently, and they were talking about the process, and it was interesting to me. It was basically open to the general public, and
If I remember,
yes,
and people responded in droves,
Yeah.
and you got your photo taken, and I think there's something like 1,000. Is it 1,000 images that rotate?
it's a lot of images.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
1,000 people showed up, or
But I thought that was a pretty neat thing
yeah.
that here was an open call to the public, and having your image, kind of using some like new modern mediums
Right.
of communication, right?
It's basically a giant LCD screen. It's pretty amazing.
Very good.
But
Yeah.
but those faces are so representative of Chicago. I mean, they're children and grandparents and adults and of kind of all ages.
Right.
And,
It's a
it's
powerful
great.
tool.
It is.
It is a
It's
powerful
great.
tool.
It's a
It
great
is.
reflection of
Showing
the city itself.
The mosaic of the patchwork of this beautiful quilt.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Now we're getting very, Okay, I've been inspired. You've inspired. Jumping a little bit here now to the Chicago Artist Resource, and the reason I want to bring that up is because that was actually as a representative of communities like Wicker Park, Logan Square, Humboldt Park, East Village. Obviously, the arts is very important to us.
Right.
And done a lot to try to encourage the growth, and all of you have been very supportive, and I'm grateful to that. But I remember having a booth not too long ago at one of the events, and it was held
At the
that year.
Cultural
It was held at the Cultural Center. And so, are we still continuing to hold the event there, or is it what's
the Creative Chicago Expo?
Yes,
Is
the
that
Creative
the event that you're
Chicago.
referring to?
Yes.
Yes, the Creative Chicago Expo, which is a project of Chicago Artists Resource, which we'll talk more about, I'm sure. But it's basically this day-long expo that takes over the Cultural Center, where various kinds of organizations that support artists, either through presenting opportunities or funding opportunities, or even neighborhoods seeking artists, I believe that was the capacity in which you were there, are gathered together to kind of have a show of kind of available infrastructure to artists, both individual artists and also arts, creative organizations like theater companies or artists who are in bands, so that they can, in one place, access everything they need to create a kind of vibrant business model for their practice.
I thought it was a tremendous resource, and obviously it's integrated into the marketing strategy, but in a way where, as you indicate, sir, we're providing some valuable resources. And I remember when I was there, it was amazing to see just the breadth of the different organizations and the wide variety. We had in our booth, we had some local artists that we asked to just go with us, and
And sit there with you?
absolutely they did,
Yeah.
and they
Oh,
did,
good.
And it was a way for us to talk about the various grants and just to collaborate with other folks. I mean, I think a lot of this is just sometimes, you know, I get the feeling that we're almost like in silos, you know, and we get so caught up in what we're doing. And even, you know, and frankly, even members of the artist community, where you get so focused on what you're doing, and if you don't try to you know, if you don't open up those blinders, so to speak, you may end up missing a lot. And you know, in particular for me, it just pains me to see, especially the young artists. You know, they're struggling, they're working hard, they're incredibly talented. You want to foster that, and you want to do whatever it is that you can. And so when I found out we had this resource, I said, okay, well, let's you know, bring some staff over there, and you folks were really kind to let us open up a little booth there.
I'm glad you participated. It's been very popular. It's been going on for a few years now, and
Yeah, it's been since the first one was in 2004, and it's grown each year. This last year, I believe we had 3,500 people attending, and it's kind of evolving into almost a conference format, because there's also a full day-long program of workshops for various kinds of business development skills for artists that go alongside the expo format. So it's really a fantastic event.
So if I'm watching the program and I want to attend this year's expo,
Yes.
what do I do? How do I access it?
Well, let me just double check the exact date. This year it will be on April 4th.
April 4th.
All day on April 4th. You will see details about the expo on Chicago Artists Resource in the months leading up to the event, and also if you sign up for our e-newsletter on the CAR website, which is www.chicagoartistresource.org, we will let you know when it's coming up.
Why should I be, if I'm watching this and, you know, let's say I'm a not-for-profit, or I'm an artist, or I'm an alderman, or I'm just a big fan of art, why should I be going to this this Creative Chicago Expo, beyond the reasons we've just given?
Well, this year, for example, when I was standing all day at our Chicago Artists Resource booth, I talked to a musician who just moved to Chicago and wanted to understand the venues that are available to him, how he could find funding to develop a business plan. I met many artists from all different disciplines who were looking for new space, studio space. That's a huge issue for artists. And in fact, the expo started as a housing expo and is a collaboration with the Department of Housing as well.
That's great. That's great. There's a website that was developed.
yes.
How does the website work? How do we use it? And how do we use it as a resource?
Well, it really, fundamentally, the website addresses the question you just asked, which was how can we support all these incredible artists in Chicago so that they have everything that they need for their practice. So Chicago Artists Resource was launched in 2005, in November of 2005, for visual artists. And since then we've been working to basically quadruple the site so that we have the same support structures and resource information and posting areas for dance, music, and theater artists as well.
And I think we have some. If we can put it up on the screen, I think you have. We have the homepage.
That's our homepage.
That's the homepage of CAR.
Yes.
And let's move on to the next page. That's the homepage. Then we
That's
have
the
a
homepage.
Then we have a music section.
We have a music section. So
Oh, is that the dance, or is that the music
That's
section?
actually, I'm sorry, that's the
That's
dance
the
section.
dance. That's
It
the
goes in
dance.
alphabetical order.
Very good.
Basically what's on CAR, and you can see it in any one of the sections, you can see it in the dance section as well as any of the other disciplines, is there's a really comprehensive collection of online resources for artists that's been identified and annotated and put together on the site.